5 Turkish dramas where marriage wasn't a choice. Girls, have you ever imagined marrying someone out of obligation, family pressure, or tradition? Sounds like a nightmare, right? But in Turkish series, that turns into a love story that leaves us breathless. Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you a theme I know you're going to love. Turkish series where a forced marriage changes everything. And yes, it might start as a tragedy, but you already know. Love always finds its way. Before we dive in, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit that bell so you don't miss a single one of these dramas that make us cry, scream, and swoon in front of the screen. So, if you love stories where fate takes control, where hate turns into love, and where the main characters are forced to live together, but end up falling for each other, this video is for you. Let's get started. Yali Chapkini, when a forced marriage turns into uncontrollable passion. Girl, if you haven't watched Yali Chapkini yet, let me tell you right now, you're missing out. This series wasn't just a massive hit in Turkey, it also took Latin America by storm, with its mix of tradition, rebellion, and of course, tons of romantic drama. The main theme? A forced marriage that changes everything. The story begins with Ferit, a spoiled, rich, womanizing young man. Honestly, he's a mess. He lives life with no limits, no responsibilities, and no thought for tomorrow. So his grandfather, fed up with all the scandals, decides that the only way to set him straight is by forcing him to marry. And not just any girl. No. He has to marry a young woman from Gaziantep, a conservative city in southern Turkey. That's where Seyran comes in. She's sweet, brave, and full of character. She wasn't even the original bride-to-be. It was her older sister, Suna, who was supposed to marry Ferit. But when Ferit sees Seyran, he becomes obsessed and demands to marry her instead. What follows is an emotional whirlwind. A forced marriage, a divided family, and 2 people who don't know each other, don't understand each other, but slowly start to see each other in a new light. What's so compelling about this series is the way it shows the clash between family traditions and personal desires. Seyran finds herself trapped in a luxurious yet lonely life, in a marriage where there's no room for her dreams. And Ferit, who starts off as a spoiled child, begins to show other sides of himself. He's vulnerable, insecure, and yes, he ends up falling deeply in love with his wife. And let's be honest, what hooked us the most was the chemistry between the leads, Afra Saraçoğlu and Mert Ramazan Demir. They perfectly capture that "I hate you, but I can't stop looking at you" tension that drives us wild. Every scene between them is pure fire, even when they're just exchanging glances. Also, the series is visually stunning. The mansions, the dresses, the music, every detail is beautifully crafted. And of course, the writing doesn't disappoint either. There are unexpected twists, family revelations, secrets from the past. It's an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. Where to watch it? You can currently stream Yali Chapkini on Max, HBO Max, and it's also airing on TNT Novelas, so there's no excuse to miss out. My opinion? This is one of those series you start thinking, just another forced marriage plot, and before you know it, you're crying, yelling at the screen, and dreaming about Ferit every night. Unmissable. Herkai, when vengeance falls in love with its victim. If we're talking about series with dramatic twists, overflowing passion, and marriages that don't start with love, Herkai is an absolute gem. This story wasn't just a massive hit in Turkey, it also became a phenomenon in countries like Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, and more. And all thanks to a plot that blends revenge, tradition, and a love no one saw coming. Our heroine is Reyhan, a noble, intelligent, and dreamy young woman, raised in a powerful yet extremely strict and patriarchal family. From the very first episode, it's clear that Reyhan doesn't quite fit into that world full of rules, appearances, and old grudges. She wants freedom, to love with her heart, to live life on her own terms. but her destiny is already sealed. Enter Miran Aslan Bey, mysterious, handsome, intense, and with a single goal, to avenge the death of his parents. And yes, his revenge is aimed directly at Rayyan's family. His plan is cruel. Win her over, marry her, and then abandon her on their wedding night, publicly humiliating the Sadoglu family. Everything is perfectly calculated, except one thing. The heart doesn't follow logic. Because what begins as a forced marriage, full of deceit and manipulation, slowly transforms into an absolutely addictive love story. Miran, who swore never to fall in love, becomes captivated by Rayyan's tenderness and strength. And she, who should hate him with all her soul, begins to see beyond the cold man who came to destroy her. The series is packed with intense confrontations, shocking revelations, and emotional tension you could cut with a knife. There are moments when you want to scream at the screen, others when you cry along with Rayyan, and many where you just sigh, because the chemistry between the leads is from another planet. Akın Akınozu and Ebru Şahin, the lead actors, made history with this show. Their connection is so raw and powerful that for a long time there were rumors they were a couple in real life too. Though they never confirmed it, one thing is certain. Their performances were so emotional, they made us believe every tear, every kiss, and every scream. Herkai isn't just a love story. It's a tale of family trauma, of how hatred is passed down through generations, and how love might be the only path to redemption. And yes, it all started with a forced marriage. But the journey is so intense, you end up wishing they had gotten married even sooner. Where to watch it? You can find the full series of Herkai on Globoplay, with Portuguese dubbing and also with subtitles. Perfect for a weekend binge. My opinion? Herkai is for those who love drama in all caps. It's intense, emotional, and completely addictive. If you're into enemies to lovers stories with a touch of family tragedy, this one is a must-watch. My home, my destiny, when the past knocks on your door and changes everything. My home, my destiny isn't just another Turkish series. It's a story based on real events that hits you right in the heart. If you're looking for a plot filled with emotional intensity, tough choices, and a marriage imposed by life itself, this series has it all. The main character is Zeynep, a young woman living between two worlds. As a child, she was given up by her biological mother to a wealthy family in Istanbul so she could have a better life. She grew up surrounded by luxury, elite education, and opportunities, but always with an emptiness inside. She never truly felt like she belonged. As an adult, just as she's about to marry a man from high society, her biological mother suddenly reappears. She demands that Zeynep return to her real home, the modest neighborhood where she was born, and fulfill her duty as a daughter. That's when Zeynep meets Mehdi, a strong traditional man with a troubled past, and someone she ends up marrying, almost without realizing how it happened. Yes, it's a marriage entirely imposed by family pressure and circumstance. Neither of them is ready. Zeynep comes from a modern liberal world, while Mehdi is deeply conservative. From day one, there's conflict, tension, discomfort, but also mutual respect. And little by little, something else begins to grow. What makes this series so powerful is how it explores Zeynep's internal struggle. Who is she, really? The daughter of the woman who gave her away, or the daughter of the parents who raised her? Should she follow her heart or live up to the expectations of those around her? Demet Özdemir, who plays Zeynep, is absolutely stunning in this role. If you only knew her from lighter roles like in Daydreamer, Erkenci Kuş, here you'll discover a much deeper, more mature, and emotional version of her. And İbrahim Çelikol, who plays Mehdi, brings that intense, raw masculine energy that turns every scene between them into an emotional battlefield. The series dives into heavy topics like identity, childhood trauma, domestic violence, and the struggle of women to take control of their own lives. And it all starts with a marriage that, on the surface, seems like a solution, but quickly becomes the trigger for inner and societal conflicts. Where to watch it? My home, My Destiny is available on Max, HBO Max, with both Spanish dubbing and subtitles. It's perfect to watch slowly because every episode leaves you thinking. My opinion? This series is made for crying, reflecting, and screaming in frustration. The forced marriage here isn't just romantic. It's social, emotional, and deeply human. If you're looking for more than just a love story, this one will hit you straight in the heart. Love is in the air, from contract to true love. Who would have thought that faking a relationship for convenience could turn into one of the most beloved love stories in Turkish drama? Love is in the Air, originally Sen Çal Kapımı, is one of those romantic comedies that starts off like a game and ends up leaving us completely obsessed. Our heroine is Ida Yıldız, a passionate, determined young woman with dreams of becoming a landscape architect. But her life is turned upside down when she loses her university scholarship because of a powerful company. Furious, Ada confronts the man responsible, and that's when Serkan Bolat enters the scene. He's a wealthy, perfectionist, arrogant architect, and yes, absolutely gorgeous. What no one expects is that, right in the middle of their argument, a crazy proposal comes up. Serkan offers Ida a deal. They'll pretend to be engaged for a while, and in return, he'll give her the scholarship back. Ida reluctantly agrees, out of necessity. What follows is a fake engagement, full of rules, tension, and off-the-charts chemistry. Even though the marriage isn't official at first, the level of closeness, the family expectations, and media pressure make them live like a real couple. They share a home, attend events together, keep each other's secrets, and get dangerously close to crossing that line between a contract and real feelings. What makes this series truly magical is the explosive chemistry between the leads, Hande Erçel and Kerem Bürsin. They didn't just shine on screen. They actually had a real-life romance that drove fans wild. And you can feel it in every glance, every fight, every kiss they share. It feels authentic. It feels real. The series strikes the perfect balance between comedy, drama, tenderness, and passion. It's not as dark or heavy as some other shows we've talked about, but that doesn't mean it lacks depth. In fact, throughout the episodes, we see Ida and Serkan face loss, illness, past traumas, all while building a love that was never part of the plan. Where to watch it? Love is in the Air is available on Max, HBO Max, with both Spanish dubbing and subtitles. It's also aired on television channels across several Latin American countries. My opinion? This series is like a warm hug with butterflies in your stomach. It's not a forced marriage in the traditional sense, but it is a bond formed out of necessity. And watching that fake relationship turn into sincere love is exactly what makes it so addictive from the very first episode. Perfect for anyone who loves to laugh, cry, and fall in love all at once. The promise when a vow becomes destiny. If you're a fan of stories where love grows despite pride, silence, and deep wounds, The Promise, Yamin in Turkish, is for you. This series, though more traditional in its format, has all the elements that keep us hooked. A forced marriage, daily tension, and a love that builds slowly, bit by bit. The story centers around Reyhan, a kind, innocent young woman from a small village. One day, her wealthy and powerful uncle, who is seriously ill, asks her to marry his son Emir in hopes that it will make him mature and take responsibility for his life. Out of respect and gratitude, Reyhan agrees to the marriage, without knowing that her future husband not only doesn't want her, he's determined to make her life miserable. Emir is the complete opposite of Reyhan. He's rebellious, proud, and full of resentment about being forced to marry a stranger. From the start, he makes it clear that he doesn't trust her, doesn't want her near him, and will never see her as his wife. But Reyhan, with her quiet strength and dignity, doesn't let herself be crushed. She accepts the challenge with grace, and that starts to shift something inside Emir. What follows is a forced cohabitation filled with clashes, misunderstandings, silent screams, and looks that say more than 1,000 words. Their love doesn't bloom instantly, and that's exactly what makes this story so powerful. It's a love that's earned over time, built through small gestures, and feels real because it wasn't planned. It just happened. Özge Yaz and Gökberk Demirci, the lead actors, perfectly captured the essence of their characters. Reyhan is strong without losing her tenderness, and Emir is tough without hiding his vulnerability. Their chemistry isn't explosive like in other series. It's deep, emotional, and full of restrained tension. It pulls you in a different way. It makes you wait, hope, imagine. The Promise was one of the most watched Turkish dramas on YouTube and international channels. And although some people consider it slower due to its classic soap opera style, that doesn't take away from the fact that it gave us one of the most painful and beautiful romances ever seen. Where to watch it? You can watch The Promise for free on YouTube with English subtitles, and it's also aired on some TV channels across Latin America. There are lots of episodes, so get ready for a long and addictive binge. My opinion? This series is for those who enjoy love stories that take their time, where every gesture matters and redemption is possible. If you love romances that simmer slowly, this forced marriage will leave your heart in pieces. And well, girls, who would have thought a forced marriage could lead to one of the most passionate romances we've ever seen on Turkish TV? These stories show us that even if love doesn't start in the best way, it can end up being the most beautiful thing there is. Now I want to hear from you. Have you seen any of these series? Which one made you suffer and fall in love the most at the same time? Tell me in the comments. I always love reading what you think. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't leave without hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. There's always room here for more Turkish heartthrobs, more drama, and more stories that make us dream wide awake. Thank you for being here, for sharing this passion with me. And I'll see you very soon with more Turkish stories that steal our hearts.